Hello, everybody. My name is Colin Canizares. I am co-founder and CEO of Rental Karma, where we help good renters build credit fast simply by adding their rental payment history to their credit report. Thanks for joining us. I want to introduce you to our program called Total Access, where we help you open your attainable housing wait lists fast. I'd like to introduce you to the team at Rental Karma. The team at Rental Karma comprises 16 folks around the country with a headquarters in Cookeville, Tennessee. The co-founders are myself and Kevin Rush, our CTO. Next, I want to introduce you to Lynn. Lynn came to work at Rental Karma many years ago after moving to the United States from Kenya to attend college at University of Denver. She came with cash to pay for college, but didn't have any credit, and was going to the cell phone store, the furniture store, and they all said, sorry, no credit, got to pay cash. Okay, so fast forward, she comes to work at Rental Karma, and she's like, oh, I got to admit, Colin, I don't have a credit score. Okay, we're going to get you on there really fast. We added 4 months of rent. She had just moved to her current rental under her credit report, and she went from 0 score to 639 in a couple of days. She's like, Colin, I got to tell you, I got a score. I'm like, I know, we expected that. And lo and behold, she got approved for American Express Rewards card right away. And then within 7 months, she actually got approved for her mortgage, purchase a home, her and her spouse. It was awesome. Her score at that point in time had gotten to 756 in that short window of time. So let's talk about the biggest problem, I believe, in America. And I think many people that are listening to this go, thank you, because we're all sick and tired of hearing about on the evening news, in the newspaper, talk everything. We don't have enough affordable housing in this country. Duh, we've heard it, right? Well, what a lot of times we're not even hearing in the news is there's this huge wait list. And oh, by the way, a lot of the wait lists are closed, okay? You know this, maybe in your own community. And if you take a look at the map of the United States, from sea to shining sea, this is a problem. Some rural areas, it might be only a few months of a wait list, but in places like San Diego, it's only 18 years. So moving on, we take a look at this. Here's a little chart that even shows us, if this problem has been around for this long, I think it's pretty obvious that the politicians are not solving the problem, okay? So we got to come up with some other approaches. That's why there's a lot of nonprofits, I believe, that have come about to try and assist with this in many different ways. And that's what we're here to help with as well. So some of the companies and entities we've worked with in the nonprofit space, one example, the Community Empowerment Fund in Durham, North Carolina, they worked together with the Housing Authority there and did a pilot program in which 10% of the participants exited the program. Moving on, we can talk and see here that one of the biggest issues in my mind, or I don't know, let's just get down to it. The biggest issue is that predatory lenders are keeping people in subsidized housing, okay? They are on every corner, every street. They are everywhere. They devastate your finances. They keep you from building a credit score because they don't report their payments to credit bureaus, and they prevent prosperity. So why do these folks exist? Go back one. Because politicians allow them to exist. The state laws vary by location. The only federal governance we have is the CFPB. They do a good job of trying to control things, but the reality is, as soon as states change laws or whatever, the bad guys find ways around them. Okay, so our votes at the end of the day are not going to change this problem. It hasn't done it for decades, and it's a feudal approach. So we're thinking differently. All right. So it's obvious that the predatory lenders got a lot of money in lobbying politicians. They don't even have to do it at the expense of national level because they don't even make the rules. They do it down to the state level. So, $10,000, $20,000 in lobbying money goes a long way to keeping your payday loan store open. So this change of mindset, pretty simple, and that is educating the community will put these sharks, devils, call them what you want, okay? Put them out of business. And we can do it fast as well. If you have a restaurant that's, serving bad food, you're not going to be in business long. And if you open a payday loan store and you don't have any customers showing up, you're not going to be around. They're going to close it up. Take an example here of a check cashing store. What blows my mind is how they get their locations in prominent places to where you go on a daily basis. This one's next to a Wingstop. You can see there in the picture. You know, they're right next to your grocery stores, gas stations, dollar stores, etc. And the interest rates, as you can see in this chart, are only 400 to 700%. And the people that are affected by check cashing stores, people are like, well, why are they? They don't have mainstream checking accounts anymore because they got blacklisted by a company called ChexSystems, which is basically the bad list of anybody that's ever in the last 7 years had a negative balance at a checking account and the bank closed the account. Most people got on that list was because they got NSF, non-sufficient funds, to death. Okay, let's go into our next example of predatory lenders. Payday loan guys. Well, they're pretty nice. You can see here they're blue states. Thankfully, some states have started outlawing or keeping these folks at bay. But as you can see in this chart, some states it's still 600% interest. It's insane. All you can do sometimes is just laugh because it's just that crazy to believe. They succeed because it's quick cash, no cosigner, no credit check. And oh, by the way, payments don't go to build your credit. Mentioned that before. The number one reason people get a payday loan is to pay rent or utilities. It's insane. Let's take a look at the next one. Personal loan stores. This one blows my mind. I purposely found images of like OneMain Financial and the prior one that they set up shop right next to the spa and the nail store. They're everywhere you're going already. It's just convenient. They're part of their message is to believe that it's a good thing for you, and it's not. OneMain Financial did get busted by the CFPB for $20 million fine for deceptive sales practices. Yeah, getting your nails done is as good as OneMain Financial, I imagine. So let's go look at the next predatory lender. Buy here, pay here car loans. This one drives me nutty. Okay. No credit, no problem is the common sign you see out front of these places. And you know what ends up happening there is the dealer, so-called dealer, I guess, will buy a car at the auto auction, pay about $4,000 for it. They'll triple the cost of that for the purchase price of the vehicle. So now it's a $12,000 car, and they'll get you in there. They'll get you to put down a couple $1,000 down payment. And the interest rates on these are regulated, but they are still regulated up to 29%, which is insane. So you end up paying $18,000 for a $4,000 car. They don't report your payments to the credit bureau. And the number one reason repos happen in this space to buy here, pay here dealers is because the car breaks down and the person can't make it to work. Okay. The CFB has taken some actions and put some of these folks out of business and put on big fines. But at the end of the day, they're still everywhere. On to the next predator, rent-to-own furniture. You've seen them. They're out there. They're right next to Wingstop and all the other places we're going on a daily basis. Got a little, neat marketing things to get you in the front door, $25 a month to get this sofa, etc. It's quick to get it. There's no cosigner. A lot of times it's no credit, no problem. Interest rates anywhere from 45 to 467%. Okay. And they do not report to credit reports when you make your payment. What's next? Oh, pawn shops. Yeah. Pawn shops. I love the name of this one, Pawn America. We literally are pawning America. It's crazy. Here's a little list of reasons what things people take into pawn shops. The reason they go: fast cash, no cosigner, no credit check. They don't put, for some reason, there's not a sign on the door that says APR up to 300%. Go figure, right? And oh, by the way, payments on any kind of loan like this does not go onto a credit report to help you build credit. Next. The title loan stores. Okay, these guys, this one's insane. Borrow money against your own car that you own outright. The car might be worth whatever. They give you a $2,000 loan and you end up paying back $6,000 over the course of whatever, 2-3 years. Interest rates going from 300 to 500%. No credit, no problem. Wonder why Title Max got a $10 million fine for basically overcharging military families for title loans. Now, let's say the Pledge of Allegiance to that one, huh? So who's funding these predatory loans? This is a crazy thing, okay? Mainstream banks are giving loans to these subprime predatory lenders at very low interest rates so they can turn around and charge 300-400%. Can't say much more there, can you? What about the cost of no or bad credit? Well, health problems, sleep deprivation, substance abuse, get in the car accident once that happens, and well, most likely going to be going to divorce court pretty soon. The value of good credit, peace of mind. It's easy when you have a 640 credit score to go purchase a home. And oh, by the way, get down payment assistance to buy that home. It's also easy to get a move-in special, $99 to move into a new apartment. No security deposit, no first and last month's rent. Literally, you don't have to save up to make that move, simply getting from where you are with no credit to 640, which is what Lynn did, right? Or from 550 to 640, and you can exit the system. The value of good credit when you get to 650, 10 more points, right? Well, you can end up getting an unsecured credit card. Don't even have to put a deposit down, which how crazy is that, right? You can go to the Furniture Row and they'll give you a credit card with no interest for 3, 4, 5 years to buy your furniture. So you're not going to be in the predatory space of Aaron's Rents and those other guys. The benefit of getting to a 650 credit score is these other businesses in your community start to lose customers. Payday loan stores don't need them anymore. Personal loan stores, furniture rental stores, and pawn shops, just at 650. Okay, going on. 680. When you're at 680, you get prime interest rates on car loans. You go down to local credit union and you get a zero money down car loan in 3, 5, 6, 7% range at a 680 credit score. You can also go down to Costco, which is where I go. This is actually a screenshot of my personal Costco Rewards credit card. I had a 680 credit score when I got approved. I put gas, groceries, a few personal things that we go and do, Target, stuff like that on there, and I got $967 in cash back last year. Just at a 680 credit score. That's life-changing right there. When the average American family, 70% of Americans don't have $1,000 in savings. Right there's a solution. What predatory lenders lose business? Well, the buy here, pay here car dealers, bye-bye. Personal loans, pawn shops, title stores, furniture realtors, they're all in the distant past. Moving on. Well, how do we solve this massive problem with a simple plan? Because in the beginning, there's a big elephant in the room, right? Well, I look at that as the world's biggest jigsaw puzzle when I first think of this thing. It's like there's NIMBYism, don't build it in my backyard, more housing here or there. It just isn't happening in the same way they've been going about it. It's just not making a dent in the problem. Well, Royal Karma, we have a very simple plan that is a very simple puzzle to solve. And I want to talk to you about how we're going to do that. Well, I think you already figured it out, right? Adding rent to a credit report. You got existing renters already getting vouchers and paying rent on a monthly basis. All you need to do is add that to their credit report and see the score go up in days. What happens next? Moving day. It comes fast. What happens after that? The news starts to change, and that here's an example from Davenport, Iowa, where it says the housing waiting list is now open. That's great, but guess what? There's still a lot of people in that line, right? This is a rinse and repeat model that can happen over and over again. Financial self-sufficiency programs. Most housing authorities have participated in these programs, the larger ones for sure. These are funding sources on how these programs can raise money, put money towards funding and paying for rent reporting initiatives. Well, going back to what is Rental Karma, been around 10 years, helped over 100,000 families now. And one of the most important things about our service is that 95% of renters can use our service without any usage barrier at all. Whether you pay rent with cash, check, money order, mow in the yard, pay to an aunt, uncle, you can use our service. We believe that there's a lot to be gained by working through partnerships. And that's why we're here today, is to talk about that, so that we can work together and make a big dent in this, and literally change every community across America so they don't look like predatory lane every time you drive down the street. So how does somebody go from 0 to 640 really fast? Here's some examples for you. There's some variances in there. You get some people that can go from 0 to 720 simply by having 5 years of rent history, no collection account, or no hard inquiry on their credit report. You had 5 years of that rent on there, boom, they're up there in a heartbeat. There are variations, obviously, when it comes to credit, and we have some slides in here that we can show that will explain that further. But the reality is the lower the credit score, the bigger the potential impact. I'll show you that right now. See here examples of people on social media sharing their story. Can't believe that people actually go on and talk about credit on Facebook, but guess what? They do. It's amazing when you really have something that changes your life that much. Going on to the next slide here, we're going to see how much our team plays an important role. Most all of our reviews include a teammate by name. It's because they put in the hard work. They don't let people slip through the cracks. We make sure we get them to the finish line. Examples of different impacts here for varying credit scores. If you go on to the next one here, you'll see as you get to the higher credit scores in the 750 range, you really might not even need us. If your mortgage person says go see Rental Karma, then you do need us. Okay. But obviously there's variations in that in the data, but we work through that with our members as we help them reach their goals. Common questions people ask: when is rent late? Well, some landlords like to say if you're not paying them by the third day of the month, it's a $50 late fee or $100 late fee. Well, the reality is when it comes to credit, there's standardization amongst the credit bureaus that it's just like a car loan, just like a credit card, it's 30 days late. So if you're not 30 days late, you're not late, and it doesn't affect your score negatively. You might have to pay a late fee, but you don't have anything else going on there. Does the amount of rent paid change your score? No. You pay $50, $500, $5,000. The impact to your credit is the exact same. How much does the service cost? On average, about $100. There's money available from grants from HUD that's out there for the Financial Social Security or Financial FSS program, self-sufficiency program, and that can be used towards it, as well as money from any other multiple sources. We can talk about that more in depth. Here's just a screenshot talking about the FSS and how I need to highlight this screen because it says in there, build credit through rent reporting, #1 on the list. So it's there and very much of use for that service. Rental Karma, we got a 90-day money-back guarantee. Literally hardly anybody ever uses it because it makes a big impact, but we do like to talk about it because it says who we are as a company and our team, that we stand behind what we do. Also, something of very much importance and very close to a lot of our hearts is that we have a domestic violence program at Rental Karma. So how does this work? Very simple. Still get it added to our credit report. The #1 thing is we do not put that address into public database that could be searched. So if that address is already unknown, we can help keep it that way. We also we have a dedicated person on our team that works through this process and give them tips and direction on how to get to the next phase of their life, and making sure that those things like their address is protected when they go get the water bill and things like that, because it's incredibly important. So why is this important? I think we can all agree keeping survivors from being transient is a huge challenge currently. This can help overcome that. Starting over is the hardest part for folks that go through these programs, that have been a victim of violence or survivors. A new identity means 0 credit score, which means no personal finance was in a healthy place. Many times survivors actually go back to an old situation because starting over is so difficult. I know that your community is already supplying some sort of assistance to these survivors. This is simply just another step in the right direction. So what we propose for every group we work with is we do a beta test, okay? This will help get things going ridiculously fast. Why? That didn't cost anything. We're going to provide the service for free, 20 households. Step 2 in the process, we're going to review the results in weeks, not years, okay? And then we're going to share that story on local media because I think everybody in this space would like to hear some good news. And good news travels fast, and it will help things moving forward. Rental Karma will do all the heavy lifting for the project as well as all the reporting. There's literally zero risk to make this first step in the process get going. Quickly move your FSS success needle. How cool is that? Go from a 10% success rate maybe to 70% in an incredibly shorter period of time. Better credit score because of rent reporting, however, does not solve the problem by itself. I want to repeat, does not solve the problem by itself. Okay? Because what happens when you get a better credit score? If you go from 600 to 700, what happens to your mailbox? Fills with offers, right? You get a lot of mail. Comes in the mail, just they're all over. So step 1 in the process is to make sure we have first we can make sure there's a good plan in place to help someone reach their goal. Okay. Step 1, add rent to a credit report. It happens within days, right? Step 2, make sure there's goal-oriented education that Rental Karma will provide. We call it total access. And that will include the basics of what they need to help them reach their goal. It's not going to be a PhD in credit. Nobody needs that. We just need the basics to get us to our goal. Most importantly in that goal, in that plan, is to make sure that people are aware and avoid pitfalls. The pitfalls are the predatory lenders that we highlighted here that are keeping people in subsidized housing assistance. And then we just simply are going to provide an accountability partner on our team that will make sure that those people are making their steps to reach their goal, checking in with them on a very frequent basis. So when we get into this process, the number one thing to do is we identify these families is start with the families that are already ready for the change. Not everybody in the system is ready for a change, but we want to start with the ones that are. This is a simple screenshot from the accountability part of the process. People leaving reviews on our site talking about how important that was in them reaching their goal. Not focusing 100% on the people. Kind of just talked about that. Why want to focus on the low-hanging fruit? Because that's how a snowball gets going down a hill, okay? Think about this. When Aunt Susie has the moving truck move up in front of her place and she's packing up, ready to go, and I'm going to tell this story better in the next one. But when the moving truck backs up, neighbors are going to be talking a lot because in a lot of these communities, these people have lived there for many, many years. They know their neighbors. It really is a true sense of community in terms of everybody knows what's going on. And when that moving truck start moving up and the one across the street does etc., they go, "Where'd you go? Where are you going?" "Oh, I'm moving across town so I can be near to my daughter so I can help with the kids before and after school. Living over here, she wasn't really ever comfortable with me taking them over here after school. So I now have better score through the program at the housing authority, and it literally happened within a couple of weeks. I mean, we're on our way, so it's great." Next thing you know, everybody in the neighborhood starts talking. The phone down at the FSS starts ringing off the hook. So change the mindset. The reality is, with this, is that consumers with good credit help solve the nationwide affordability problem all on their own. Stay away from predators, pitfalls. Better credit score is a huge step in the right direction. And the reality is that a lot of these folks, these goals are much more attainable even at their current income level. Politicians are not solving this problem, so we're going to have to do it ourselves. Simple example of the cost variance, right? The cost to build one new affordable housing unit, 2-bedroom apartment in the United States is $200,000. Try and build 100 of them and put them in somebody's neighborhood. NIMBYisms right at the front door and keeping that from happening, right? How many families can be helped with that same $200,000, putting it into rent reporting, education, pitfall avoidance? Well, 1,818 families. That's a pretty big ratio of difference, huh? And the 1818 can happen in months where the other one takes years. Simple plan, step one, Rental Karma. Here we are. Includes our education plan, total access. It avoids what things that step one accomplish is very quick to happen, and two, it skips the step of anybody needing a secured credit card. So no need to save $300 to go get a secured credit card. Okay. Step two, send people over to Chime Bank or Dave or one of their others. There's a handful of what they call neobanks now that are not brick and mortar banks. They got millions of users already using their service. One of the huge benefits is there's no overdraft fees. They give people a $200 cushion if they do happen to spend $15 at the grocery store that accidentally overdrafted their account. They get real-time alerts and all this stuff through their app. And there is no ChexSystems blacklist for this. This accomplishes the escaping of payday lenders and escaping of check cashing stores. Okay. Step three, they need to get a unsecured credit card. This will help them with the 30% of the credit score that is based off of how someone uses a credit score. If they don't have one, it's like taking a 100-point test and starting at 70. And if you ace every question, the best you can get is a C-. Okay. What's this accomplished? No more need for personal loan stores or pawn shops. Number four, exiting the system. 2 to 4 months down the road, credit score is going from a 650 to 720. All right. They're now ready for one of two options to exit the system. Buy a home with down payment assistance with a 640 credit score. Down payment assistance. Every state except one in this country has a program to supply people with 3% money for the down payment and closing costs to purchase a home. Option two, move-in specials. Say they're not ready to, maybe they don't want the certain responsibilities of owning, and a better apartment in a better neighborhood would go a long ways, and it being affordable because they have move-in specials with little or no security deposit and get up to 6 weeks of rent for free in a lot of these new complexes. The end result at the end of the day is a happier community. You got less predatory lenders, poverty, and homelessness, a major reduction in financial stress, crime, and law enforcement churn, improved quality of life, property values in schools, less turnover of educators, local leaders, and employees. A few years down the road, this is what the Payday store looks like. Pretty cool, huh? Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. If you're with me to this point in the presentation, I know that this means a lot to you. I urge you to reach out to our team for scheduling our call, getting the pilot program moving in the right direction. If you happen to know anybody else in this community that works in this area, share this video with them. Please comment below. Make this a conversation that we all hear, because this is a problem that could really be solved very quickly in a major impacts for years to come, to where at some point it's just these businesses are all gone. Thank you so much. Write and comment below.